akasumi karabireho abakotubere na okuyigura uruguto rwa Kyenjojo kandi n'enkiko ezindi zimbanze gukora hano mu State Lodge banyuma twabugana abembezi ati twantugamba n'eminyeto njye cyatukereza twatureba kutandika shahemwe kungati twaza kutandika haisha ibiri hati ungo ningambira abembezi mbagambira emiganda eyembaganiza eyi NRM eteire ahanju ya Uganda abamuntu batekereza ngo ebyo buremi ibintu byakuzanisa nibaremo kumanya ngo kore ensobe mu byoburemi ibintu byona nibisisikara kandi nkenywe abarwenzori hano numanya nke ibintu bikara nko munsi yanyu ya haihi ya Kongo ati ni myaka nkaga ensi tekaterekeraga habweki habo kigambo cya garubindi z'abantu bakujwara okorera ebyo buremi nibabirora bata kujwara garubindi ezenganda wajwara garubindi za madini wajwara garubindi ezo kugaya abakazi umanye ngo ibyo buremi byakurema ito icyo nicyo NRM ya manyire ya rozire kurungi myaka ya nkaga n'etano no twa rugira habitebe byira ito amo twaturi mu bitebe byo nyonka bandi mu DP nkabandi umusigazi wa DP wa mani muno abandi abasigazi nkabakategaya na rugunda bakabari mu UPC konka kutwarozire ebitebe bya bikora icyo kutamani hadini n'enganda okubitahya mu byoburemi ejo nsobe twagiroreraho twajanga itoga amanu gaitu twagata aha ibyetago by'abantu ibyo kujanjaba ibyo kusoma ibyentahya ibyemirimo ibyengenda ibya amasomero itwe nibyo turukwebembeze biri ebinde byedini ebyo tukabirekera abasusodoto banyu na bahuri kandi bone bakora iki ibyenganda tukabirekera abakama ninga abandi abayino mugugogo nkanyowe okongera hamu mirimo yange ya yokora ibyetago by'abantu ba Uganda nkandika na katabo katondozi nyankore rukiga abo kanyino mugugu gorimi bitecho tinkitahya mu byoburemi uburemi tukora ibyetago by'abantu bona ataro kusosora ati kutwa kwasire kutayebembeze entekateka ejo abantu bayegaita luta tukiri mu kishaka ushanga abantu namwe nko butabe turuwero ukoshanga turi umuntu nka Dr. Bata wabenarga moyo yatwegetsero abantu nka Lieutenant Colonel Nasur Ezaga uwabere narga yumbi like Major Amaza bona ituweno wabere ija kasta na chance bitekete ko tukora nabo icyarigiramo abantu bayigita kandi tutagira government twabanjuje nkoreyo mwajyakira twagita abanyayuganda nabo ni impurura mwimo kuno yamukine yo akarakubura mu kuba ni impurura abafurikiye abatoro ibintu mufakina bibyo kwarabe yafurikire aine mikorere mirungi tumurebe mikorere ye ninga kwara ryo mutoro aine mikorere mirungi nakora kurungi murora ukora ku kurungi uruganda rwo mururugeho hati oko itwe okwebembeza ibyetago by'abantu kwaletera abantu okwegaita twagira umukomo kwa 96 twatunga majority jimeka yona tukara ntunga majority kakwa tukozesa ebyenganda na edini twakusubira kutunga majority awokataro dini rukushya abantu 10 hari kikunu mu Uganda taro Uganda rushya abantu 17 hari kikunu mu Uganda kandi nuko byabaire nkaga nebiri abako bakandu bebembeza enganda na madini bakawatasobora kutunga majority nicho cyabahambirize okukora coalition umukago UPC na kabaka yeka abo kugaita abantu twagira amahega amani abantu bayegaita kandi twabana na mahega amani ekirigire mu mwebyo ebisatu okwebembeza ibyetago by'abantu okugaita abantu mbyoburemi amahega amani hargamo obusingi twagira obusingi obusinge nebindi byamageze bitwakozere cyatuletera abaguda bayingiye kwija mu ihanga ryitu hata ino kubariza kandi nko kumanya twine abaguda bayingiye mu Uganda abazire gukora imirimo yabo hano nambone nisaba abaine computer baboreke abaguda bakora hano barukora sana. Hati aga makora gumukorora nagabaguda abarigire hero bakijya korora hano habo incho bayizire bakijya habo kuba twino businge kandi ntuborobeza ukora imirimo yabo hano mu batene kugumira kwona atabagudabo kubayizire batukongera okumaraho iburariye ibintu kumara abantu baboreke ibintu bikorwa hano babyoreke mu TV sukari biha baboreke mu birore nanyobonyoreko nanyondoreho kubera birumu the products of the factories sample.
My name is Jagdish Patel, Director of Chenjeju Sugar Industries Limited. It is located in Katara, that is in Chenjeju district. We have started construction this factory in 2017 and we have started commercial production in April 2020. Now currently we are producing 1000 bags every day and now targeting 2000 bags per day. That's the revenue what we are have. It is now 2.4 billion. Now planning to go up to 4 billion in like next 4 months. We have around 4,500 outgrowers. That is the sugar cane farmers where we have registered those farmers. We have our own estate like 1,500 acres. That is our own. Now targeting to have around 15,000 outgrowers in next three years. Employee, currently we are having 2,050. That is the company employee. We have our own estate where people are working. There are around 300. And indirectly, as with the outgrowers, there is some employee. It is going up to 400. In the future, we are planning to go up to 2,000 ton crushing capacity. That is around 5,000 bags per day, and planning to have employee 1,000 in next 2 years. Now this sugar that is we are selling it locally, especially nearby districts like Chenjeju, Mubende, Kasese, Kagadi and Port Portal.
We receive farmers and they bring leaf, we check leaf quality. When we are satisfied, we make weighments and then we get leaf ready to be transported into the factory. What we are looking for here is this should be the right quality of leaf. 2 leaves and a bud is the best quality leaf that will give us a product that sells well on the international market.
My name is Onesimus Masiko. I'm the General Manager
for this company, Mabale Growers Tea Factory Limited. This factory is owned by over 2,300 shareholder farmers, and it was constructed in 1969 deliberately to handle production from smallholder tea farmers. It experienced ups and downs over time, but when government was privatizing state-owned enterprises, farmers were given an opportunity to buy this factory. And recently, when the world tea market got problems, we had troubles in operating capacity of this factory. Last year, the factory produced only 2.5 million, collected 2.5 million kilograms of green leaf against a capacity of 15 million kilograms. But government has made the intervention. We thank government for the intervention through Uganda Development Corporation, where the factory is being recapitalized with 20 billion Uganda shillings. This year, we have already resumed normal operations upon government's intervention, and we are already past 60% capacity utilization, and we hope to be full capacity utilization next year. Also, this factory handles green leaf that has come from another very successful government program. We thank government for the free seedlings that were supplied to farmers. We have production that exceeds the aggregate capacities in the district. On this note, I also would like to thank government for NRM, to be specific, for including 2 new factories in Chenjojo in NRM's manifesto. We also have a program, a partnership between this factory and Chenjojo district, whereby government will finance procurement of fertilizer. Farmers will get fertilizers at a subsidized price. That is a project called Local Economic Growth Support, and next season fertilizer is already procured. We thank government for that. The problems of farmers are mainly low yields and poor quality. When fertilizer comes, I'm very confident we will have farmers yielding a lot and generating production to serve factories even beyond Mabale, and we shall reduce on unnecessary competition between factories as we create production to be absorbed by new factories that are yet to be constructed according to NRM manifesto.
Okay, I thank you. The atumwen mwabare babo abonangwa abona katogo eyo mabare neyitekeri ya government bwanyuma yagihereza abahingi bwanyuma kubaremwa kandi government ija kubabangira konka mwareberiye ndijo yashuka igene y'amajyani bwena amajyana ubwo ngakamaraho libora ry'amajyana umwihanga abo kwa amajyana tukaba gatakiruho nkaga na mwenda Uganda ekabane kora amajyani miliyoni 23 kilograms twaje kwija kinana mukaga Uganda kene shoza amajyani miliyoni 3 zonka kilogram hata yini kugambira oteri munawa aba mabari ntukora kilogramu miliyoni nkaga twingwire aha ukoroko majyano okwanshanju ati twabaza emirundi 3 turiya miliyoni nkaga konka enshonga yena ningambaho ubahatira enshonga yabagaiga bakorga heru ko ryo muhindi washwari obwo nabandi. You show the other factories of Jinja, Kampala and all that if you have them quickly. Agama town nagum kureba nama town naga factory agutkwete industrial parks ekikumanyisa industrial towns. Abanyarwanda twatumanyirire obutawuni obw'amaduuka ohurire tawuni umenya ngo obuduuka obutunda sukari, obutunda ehuzi, obutunda omonyo. Mbwenu hati noshanga tawuni yona eyina amakorero agarukukora ibintu you have shown us the display because you can't follow you now show us the products inside, some of the products. Mwaza kukira abantu kugira hibashitama nebidori utakwetse nebidori ebyomurembe ebyo abantu bene bashaka China. Can you imagine abantu kushaka ebidori China? Mbona tuntu bikorra toilet seats atabone bikorra. Not only are they making them, are they availing them, but they are making them in the Korra. Those are toilet sinks. Toilet even some other products. I want about plastics, about work. Naman bine. Oh, okay. Naman bine. Mama yataruka. Abantu bakora obutafari obukuto mu maju ahansi manye ngo ebyo byona babene babishaka heru munko obutafari babene babishaka China kandi butware sente nyingi kandi buba webe yahiguru abo kwanu buremera okuza kubwekorera kuwe China no esente zengenda niziba nyingi ninja kutunga ebeyi ninja bagambira uragarikeho tani y'amatafari agakorera aha tuteguro two neba shekera heru nizinga esente nizinga mbona hati konga kinkumanya Uganda bene shoza milioni 80 kushaka obuteguro ubushaka hera hati $1 zizo zona niziguma so mbona tabagaiga kutoa banyurire kutoa bareta batikiza ibura ry'ebintu kandi batikiza okushaka ate bitwaye ntushaka ntubikora tubagarikiraho batutwera aha mirimo go kumukorera. You can see how many young people are working there. Wakutoreka abana okuba kukora mu factory omu to show us some sample of how many young people are working in the factories. Show us where there are many workers. That's
Harris International celebrates women. The company has put up an initiative to employing women in the company, making the percentage of women 70% against 30% of men, hence encouraging participation of women in the world of employment. As Harris International, we encourage ladies to take up International's most long-serving employees are females, and it covers to 80% of the employees in the company. The company has provided room for growth and development for these women through skilling and training, which has enabled them to grow career-wise. When someone hears about production, what runs in their mind is men. But at Harris International, we have women working in production as technicians, machine operators, production inspectors, labeler personnel, and oven operators. Harris International as a company has a garage of its own and employs ladies in this section as well. To many, a garage is a man's place, but at Harris it's an equal environment, and we see electricians and mechanics repairing cars.
Hakuna mwareba abana bani bakora mu factory abengi mwareba na hata abakazi kwa harakana n'abasheja kora imirimo y'abasheja yabene kuro abasheja abakazi nabone bagira Rwanda ngo makanika abasheja imirimo yaza kubaho reba abakazi nibo kugikora konka kikuri n'iki nahina kuboreka no kuboreka namba y'abana bakora mu factories zezi ahita kugambira twina abana imparo nsanju abarukora mu makorero abantu bengi muno kusinga abakozi bona ba government okubateka hamwe abakozi bona aba government mtwarana na munana, aba polisi, aba serikale, aba somesa mtwarana na munana. Beta abakora mu factory ati ni mtwaro nsanju. Abakora mu hoteli, mu banks abo na kakekurukamwe ni mtwaro asatu. Abakora mbyoma bya karimagezi nabo mtwaro asatu. Hati ayindukubariza abana bayingi ba abanyarwanda bakora imirimo etari ya government kandi etari yo bulimi no burisa, imirimo emihaka ya makorero hamwe na companies ezirukore ebyobuherezo. Hata ibyo byona abaguda batukonyera kumaraho ibara ry'ebintu, batukonyera okongera hamirumu. Kandi kindi batukonyera emisoro. Umwaka kinana na mukaga tukasoroza umusoro go 5,000 ubwonko mu Uganda yona. Abwaki abukatene abantu abokwihamwe emisoro, abaguda abokwihamwe emisoro. Abantu bona bakabarabanaku amakorero gafuire, amashamba gachayi gona gafokire bibira. Our media people should get us pictures of how the tea estates were looking in 1986 when they were forests, and the sugar estates, how they had become bush. Next time we shall show it. They may not have it now. Hati abokwata twina abaguda bana bayizire emisoro hati etukusoroza ni mingi muno okukira kinana mukaga. Hati ntusoroza emisoro obuhumbi 2,210. Ekikumanyisa emisoro yiyongeire emirundi 10,200 omu bukoto bw'omusoro oguturukusoroza. Hati emisoro iyo niyo kutukonyera okukora emirimo ya government, engudo, amasomero, ingonza ngo bano baboreke engudo nerizoba nyugwiro ruguto rwa Fort Portal Kyenjojo. Ijo kaba nyugwiro ruguto rwa Katunguru. Ijwere nkaba ndoro ruguto rwa Kihihi. Abebyoma baboreke engudo ezo. That is Ishaka Katunguru. Ndo tuwire ijo. Oro Ishaka Katunguru na Harutindo Rwakazinga. Enguto nyingi zitukozire ntukozise sente ezo. Orunako rwa hati tubeire Kyenjojo. Ntuguru ruguto rwa Kyenjojo. Rwa Kyenjojo batugambire ngo rugudo rwo tukoziseho obuhumbi 10,19. Ruriyaho Kyenjojo Fort Portal. Orukorabo mu majyani. Oro tukoziseho obuhumbi 10,19. Ezo sente zone tuziyanka emisoro y'abaguda barukuhereza. Abaguda bakajya bata hano okurugo wabo bu China, Buhindi bakajya abo Busingi. Na abo kubakwata kurungi. Ati ebyo nibyo NRM ekora. Tugamba mu ndimi zimu tugamba ngo obwenge bukira amani abo kozesa amagezi enaremwe sobwiro okukora ibintu bingi no tarebe twabestere sente nyingi ato n'uruguto rwa bundu bujoro nkemereraho enyuma oko na terekisani banterekisani izo motoka zange uruga football rugenda bundu bujyo na wekyo NRM ekikubagambira abanyarwanda NRM hata itwahika tene kiri kugirema umwaka guno gutandikire mwijuka hariho abakutere nduru yenzige zizire zarga Yemen zarga Somalia ntugenda kufuenjara wapi no hafuire njara abwenzige enzige tukazita abantu beta bandi bazirya ibyenzige byagarikira konka abakuriye nzige bakanyigira bakagamba ni nteka embazo umbyukuriye byabo bitu yonkantene cyo gukora mu nganyira abakuriye nzige inkanta kwesiga mu musobora kuzukwata okuziriya kuzimaraho na wicyo nyunka ziteka mu mbazo zafu kundabe na sisire byukuriye byanyu mu nganyire kasi byukuriye by'abantu bange bikakera tene enzige tizari byukuriye byona amaize ga Victoria okwijura gakijura gakejura gaboga gazo mumpita konka za damu tuzarasisikaire namati gatankiye kwijuru kampora ampora ati bibyona egendo wara corona izire twarwana nayo abantu bafire 250 konka kandi tubakwingana nabandi abafira mu mahanga gandi nambone nka America afira abantu 30 bafome omezaga munani nabo cyate kinkwena ngumanye no kumanya ngo hata itwa NRM tiri kikugirema esente tuzine konke kiko no ugaburaje hato bumwe abantu beitu nibagabura kubi nambone nka abinkorera ababetsimbire abafite ubwingi bakaba ari mu parliament mugisha muntu akari mu parliament tumukunde akari mu parliament cyagura nyugo ari mu parliament undijo manoha no ari mu parliament tiku mama aragira mu parliament aha
2 times
mbona wabona
even
amuriat abona ko bari mu parliament tubagaburaki baba bari mu grupu eyintanye ndwana nayo eyo kwatija gesente bakuyongera imshara okuzaheru kurambura kandi yontanye ndwana nabo ninyana ngo esente bazitahanguto nkuko naba nogize umwaka 2006 aho kandi kutabuka ku tabuka constitution bakagihandika kubi 2005 bakata Mungu bakareto munyurano parliament nesa kore byayo president no wara batekirize kunganya abo kutwazaje nicyo sitakageraga ntaro zirengire konka harimo okushisha usanga ubundi konka kuna yangire 2006 twayongere senta hanguto ninda kushima ba NRM ababari mu parliament w'irobo twayongere senta amashanyarazi nko kureba hati ezenguto nkezi turi kwigura zikarga umuriye cyo nabo cyo kutwako gaburagiye tene icyakuterema nambone nke sente zeminyeto okubongere sente zentandukwa za capital ikibasika kumara turono mu government nchoro igir kwija ntuja kureba bako mu biningama n'abasigazi bari nabo ababere ba bayinenda obunyanda buko yabanza hati barebera kabya karumu limpamya nibeje kwikeza ne tumbusinge amani tugate akuteke sente nyingi omu byo kukenura emikeno y'abantu omu otwarire muri sente z'abakyara esente z'eminyeto neza operation risk creation nabo ekyo kuma kutwa kukikora teni cya kutureba esente zizuriho NRM ezurundaine nezurundana habokuba ine aher kuziye ekindi kinkwenda ngo abantu betaho mu district nkabo bahingaha batuyambemu n'ekigambo cyo kushohorera entando mu muhanda omuntu kumuheza entando y'omwana ngo agimutwarire umwishomero akiko umuhanda akagumana nashoramu naryo ntwena ngo kiturahereze umwana kimushike hatene osumireho ubu ni manyiso kurwanisa corruption eyo kutayishura esente z'abantu mukazitumubindi nabo ekyo omukushomesa kwetu kwa NRM ebitsigere n'ebintu bibiri ekyo kubanza n'ekigambo cyo kukorrenda ahubwo nko kumwareba factories z'ezimwareba zone ezikukira ubungi nezabagega baheru harimo zeitu nke y'amabare iyo neyitu n'ibindi bike konka ziriya factories nyingi nezabaheru nambona abahera batera umuganda muhango akwimbura ibintasi bya Uganda yuko bihangusi ngamo ntone ngabanya Uganda nabo baze omuhuru yogegahara ekizira ko okurgenyima ekyabatsigeze nyuma cyatsigeze nyuma Africa no korenda yonga okwiha mwaka nkaga na mukaga yontanindwanisa ekigambo ekyo nkakireba ubunabe ni nkoro wetu ntungamo nareba abantu bayino bugeiga bayina mataka bayine ntoke bayine konka batakumanya ibyentasya nibakorro kurya konka nunatandika okubahabura ngo bakorere okurya hamwe n'enshaho n'entasya konka bayito tukumenti kigamba ngabanza kukigezaho owetu nyabushozi kucyareberemu narabo mu Uganda yona naburengiri yikigambo ekyo konka ngabwe kwero kugamba arusho wagire kubiba embiwe mwe kabwarikiri ndije kagbo mahwa yagwira rikire koma yagwira omo ekanyoroza konka akagira embiwe yagohita kerungi mbona no muri bintaninga mbuko ya 95 ati ni myaka 25 nimbagambira nyaburamwe mukorere enda mukorere nshaho haza mukozese ikibaro araho abantu bake abahurire umuranga gwanjye nambone nyine umuntu bakweta Nyakana Richard warwengaju abanja warwengaju katire byaro gukora
My name is Richard Nyakana from Rwengaju Model Village. This is Rwengaju Model Village, and I'm the owner of Kana Farm. Started in 2008 after His Excellency the President had visited this place and advised farmers to come up with some specific economic activities on their farms. This farm is on a 1 acre model. It has got two major economic activities or enterprises. One, it has a poultry unit. The poultry unit right now has got 3,500 birds, but we are making extensions. We are looking to have 10,000 birds in the next 2 years. That's the projection. It has got a zero grazing unit of four cows, as you've seen. And we are making also an extension to add more two, so that we can have 6 cows for a zero grazing unit. This farm we started with only, the background of it, we started with only 500 cats with 1 unit. So every 5 months, we could add on an additional unit. Until now we have reached to a capacity of 3,500 cats. The birds, every day they are giving us, because they are laying in shifts, they are giving us 60 trays. But I think by January we'll be getting 100 trays, because another lot will be laying. And right now these cows are giving me, every day I'm getting 8 liters from these cows, because I started with 2, I was getting 35, they added 40, then when I added on additional 2, now they are giving me 80 liters a day, the 4 cows now. On top of that, the zero grazing unit for cows is doing wonders for us, because it is providing biogas, which gas we are using for cooking in the house. His Excellency the President came up with an idea that those with 4-acre model, they can, plan and they have 4 enterprises on the 4 acres, but we could not get the 4 acres. So he said, for us who have got small pieces, let us also develop a 1-acre model concept, but in fulfillment of His Excellency the President's vision and interest. So that's how we came up with this 1-acre model concept, and it's working out.
Ati ogone mweta Nyakana Richard Rwengaju aine nkoko akathankane nkoko 500 hata ine 15 na tunda trays z'amahuri 60 buri zoba. So umwaka natase milioni 216. Rwengaju, post office box, private bag, Kabarori. Omuntu natasya milioni 216. Abana bantu abana habwire obunazo omugenzi kabagambe. Nyina kwebaza batora n'abantu barukwegaho naho kandi barukurra tubene mpaka nkabanda abantu abene mpaka atkuna abahabwire ninyushka akaroho chairman Kayonga kana akunda kugamba munonga konga akaro umushiri wo mugurisa mu mutanshemereirwe akana akoraho mbi ya production ninka vet ninka agriculture vet yambira ata atumgurusu Museveni cyaro kubaza n'ikindi. They show my point. Ejo kugira ngo mureke korenda yonka mukorenda nenshaho haza mukozese kibaro. Hata mano wahurra Nyakana na amahuru gonka mu nkoko ne ha mu milioni 216 ariya umuri Republic of Uganda, tar Denmark, tar Holland ariya. Rwengaju akahariente zengaju yira hatu zikargai hariye nkoko nazo ngaju kandi yagira nente zamati ezaru kwiha mu ritakinana ente zaru kwisomishiju ne murta kinana atezo umwaka zona ni milioni 28. Mbeni Nyakana umwaka na tashe milioni 284. Ubu ni Nyakana Rwengaju Burahia Kabarori ariya akargomu kuhaburwa kweitu eginembo yagwira hita karurungi embibo inabirwe ngaju obigambo binatereyo bikargamo amagoba katuramu andasingwire
My name is Katuram Abel. This is my wife, Doreen. We are located in the Kaburisokeke village, Kaburisokeke ward, Kamwenge Town Council, and Kamwenge district. We are a young couple trying to set up a farm. On this farm, we have enterprises. Majorly, we do matoke growing. We also have a small unit for zero grazing. We are trying to also start up some poultry unit, a little, still under development. And we have quite a lot of prospects in the future to ensure that we expand our unit.
We received 1,350 plantlets from OWC, Operation Wealth Creation, from Kamwenge district, and this one from the plantlets we obtained in 2017. We planted them, and now they are around 3 years old. So they fruited very well. It was a very good variety, and all our bunches are good like that. They are very big in size. Per week, we harvest averagely 50 bunches, and we are able to sell each at 20,000 to 25. Due to the lower market, the prices have been very low, but we are able to sell at around that price. So averagely we are able to get almost like 1.1, 1.2 M.
That's per month.
We also received a cow from a heifer from OWC in 2018. So from the cow we are able to get 4 liters to 4.5 liters per day, because it has had series of miscarriages, but we've been able to milk it per day. This milk, some we've been selling it to our neighbors, and some other liters remain here for home consumption. We've had quite very many successes from this. We're able to construct our house from it. Then we've also bought 1.5 acres of land out of this banana growing.
In addition to even the money we get, of course the biggest other benefit is that as a family we are able to save a lot, because quite a lot we don't buy food. Everything we get it from this unit, from these enterprises, spending from matoke, milk and the rest. So our children are actually assured of good nutritional sources of food. We are so appreciative to the government for the support, and want to take this opportunity to also encourage other young farmers like us to try it out. It works out, and the future is bright with agriculture. We have future plans to expand our enterprises. We want to expand our zero grazing unit to about like in the next 1 year. We want to ensure that we have other 3 cows in addition to what we got. Of course, I know it will also give us another offspring. Also want to ensure that we buy more land to continue expanding, and we look forward to actually more benefits.
Atumana mwa hurra Katuramu Abeli n'umucyara wasingwire aba Kaburishoke Kamwenge umtoke umhikishatu umwaka nibatase miliyoni 8 baryaho, kandi bakabimo operation wealth creation. Noriya nawe nkuko na wakazi ngo operation wealth creation no shatwe yagira uri wabanza Nyakana atiba asingwire na ibaba kombeke njunu nyumwagireba kandi bagure irindi itaka. Waswa Habat
banyita mukuru Waswa Habat Waswa ndi mchalo cha Bakebwa Rwengaju Modo Village Kabarole district. Katungo Mugisa kuba
I got a opportunity to be one of those who received wealth creation pigs.
Ya wealth creation. Ndizi zino bazituwa
the chairman LC1 approached them and they were told to organize themselves, construct the houses for where the pigs will be, and then later he was told to apply.
So Katunga mpuni tano hizo.
When they got 5 pigs, they were supposed to, of course, rear them, and after give the 5th another farmer.
Kumitano ozitungira omuntu ondi ekyo ekintu kyenakozere natandika kuzirolera kulungi ati saa zino empunu enkulu nento ziteranize hamu ayini empunu nka 8 nukiramo.
When the pigs produce, he sells, and the young one can sell it at 100,000.
Tunda mitwali 10. Netusima gonna mutoso kusima kwitira omubembezi wehanga abakuba ati nkanyoye mba musajja makanika fotokoto.
Waswa is thanking the president for this initiative of wealth creation, because as a mechanic, and being a mechanic, sometimes he goes to work and he doesn't get any customer. But when he's at home, he can work on this farm. By 10, he goes to the garage and he gets an alternative income. If he doesn't get money at the garage, he comes and gets money from his farm.
Manya kuno sobola kutunga ekisolo kyange kimu bibiri. Mwana n'abaalo. Sati ekintu ekyo kitukonyere muno. Kila muno na batayi wetu omukyalo abantu aboja bakabati balina mirimu kikabakonyera muno.
Ati Ogunu Waswa owabakebwa village Rwengaju akatandika n'empunu 5 ate n'empunu 3 n'obuhunu obuto 45 ate natashe milioni 15 omwaka. Katurebe Muhangi Deo
amazina nibanyita Muhangi Deo, umutuzi wa LC ya Buhembe Rutaraka Parish, Bentu Hasab County, Kigegwa district. Nina amashemererwa mingi ago abagenya bantaya ireri izoba ndi umuhingi w'ebijuma mpinga imiyembe n'imicungwa. Nkatandika ekiteekateeko ky'okuhinga emiyembe naheza kuhurira obwo kitinisa President Museveni nagamba radio arakushobora ngo itaka rike yanda gukora intunguka ahinga ebijuma nkomukazi wa Masaka we yabenariza cyo kureberaho wahikina babenasharura miliyoni 20 natandika nanye nahinga imiyembe natandika kurunda imbo y'imiyembe nabugana ngo kizibunya abandaze kugura ati yabayo nashangira yitu y'Kinyankore nagaraka ina kwatana n'umuhingi sawitu yandondera imbo nungi kurga Kawanda nagibyara koneze kugibyara ati yamara itakari yanje nagibyara ryaho ko nasharwiremo nagura itaka nagura hikibiri nashabe imbo wealth creation ya mpereze imbo inabiro mu hikibiri nati natandikire kusharuramo nagentasi nkabandi bantu nanye nari kukaji nayo gonza amudujuma byanje nanomba habuzi bwo kitirisa President Museveni oyatirize. Twatandika hone kigombe kitu cyakegegwa Fruits Farmers Association target yiti kiruja ngo nombiro byo misho tugire bizuma bingi na government tubase kutereza factory abo ko mukubuguza ndostegana santu guza kamwe fitegana ikigombe tarwa memba igana 26 turiyo tugenda misho na government yatu yamba government nungiti ya movement ya tereza na tractor 25 mukono ati 25 tractor nabahinja abandi batari mu kigombe nawe bayamba ekyo nikisibira government munonga abo bombezi butuyine na district yiti ya Kigegwa. Ebijuma ebi ensarura yabyo nibinkorera kasente abakwa emiyembe ninyiha miliyoni 22 njira kusharura ningurizo mu nshaho nguze nshaho 22 season empango nya miliyoni 22 season enche nguze nshaho 5 nya miliyoni 5 konka na nyinyigonza mbaji ikibinyambere binyambira school fees z'abana amashomero ngatwara sente nyingi eko kuza university kirenga kungana nyini mbasa kushashora university sente shashora musini ya sente kandi mbaho hija nendwara nyiraguruza nafuna munenzu yo kuraramu ejo nungi na nyindi y'ubukitine sanke cy'abashije abandi bine nyine nsonga mbasiba munonga ninsima ba ekigombe aha kigombe ari ikintu cyenayibo abahingisa bitu ba district yona nimba sima ndile bugarche akwana bakora nkenzo ki nabaturekere misomo batuhabura batwegese bitushobire batugambira kitwahika muntaringa burusha yona ubwo ni ejo ni chance impango yarize bekigombe icyace Jego Fruits Farmers Association kikashitama mani abahingisa bakatumanyirira aba district na bigombora so government ningisima niye bari mu nonga abavuzi bayo kandi president Museveni agomeze mu kushomesa
kali hatu mwenu muhanji deo ene hiketano zemiyembe zihiro mu Operation Wealth Creation hata aituru kugamba na tashi uwe nkanko mutu na tashi miliyoni 84 mu mwaka kandi bene kibina cyabo kirumba memba igana na mukaga kandi muhangi abasikombe kenju nungiye mu areba no kushora abana mushanju school fees katurebe Julius Bigabwa.
Julius Bigabwa is my name. I'm a farmer here in Kiko Town Council, Kabarore District. We are here located in Kanyambeho, and we are having so many enterprises. Tunahiki kubanze kuleta senta za amani ya vanilla, tunahe kilimo kibakweta macadamia, tunahe samaki, tunahe bitoke, tunahe miyembe. Ebimwe bitukorora, for example, bino byebipa ebya samaki ize tukulindira omuko weitu ntukosa pampo na ebintu ebindi. Tukatandika kulema kwetu farming yenu habigila agritourism mu mwaka gwa 2008 hatsa hazinu tugenda myaka 12 akube mwezi gwa September actually myaka 12 emazire kweka tusangire tuyambira abantu bengi especially abakutunga emirimo twina abakozi abakukikumi abali permanent abakwikarra kimu hano twina kandi yabo mba aninga buli muntu emitwali 15 buli mwezi then twina abakozi abakajo laborers batahe bitu ba neighbors abakwija hano asaba umulimo either go kulima go kuombera go kuombeka then hanyuma neki twina abana bakutrainingibwa around traininga from the universities up to primary level abana bato abakwenda kurora enyanya n'ibintu babirima bato even nabyoki berhano so enterprise zone is twina ezimu tugenze nteka mu enterprise nkeza livestock twina enter za zero grazing twina wakame twina rabbitry twina quail birds twina nkoko kandi nkoko ezo ntwezalizi twenka twina incubator yituki eyo kubanezi hamu korora zagenda hakatali kandi abantu banja bagora umwaka aninge bintu bingi ntusanga ngo hakoba halo mwako kweka ukasanga umuntu aningire center zawe istalhansi ya miliyoni 200 no genda no miliyoni 300 baito ebyo kuba no kora no inga no sasora na abantu no inga expansion hakoba hatuguzirita kalindi likigarama tungizeho korora obukoto bwalyo bwayongeraho kandi tuli ha acres hazino acres mwenda baitu katandikira ha acres 5 twagenda ntongeraho itaka hatsa hazino tuguzire ni itaka lindi ilinyakuli kigarama okutekere yon ente nembuzi zino zikuzara hano za zero grazing zigenda mu itaka ya eri msima aba government hazino engudo eno yatukoliri from Kamwenge connecting to Kenjojo connecting to Kasese connecting to Bundubujjo ibintu bitukozere byo kubanza kuroraho toyombekire enju sahazino enju yosho kumara atise myaka nsano neto tujagiroraho gantu gama enterprise yituki yakozere twina transport neto sahazino ntuvuga tukyali nka abantu nindo bataro ningenda mukatali tuombekere training hall ege yo trainingira mugaba farmers na aba students abamu abantu abakwetagaki amagezi amazi
atogo nibigawa wa na Nyambeho Kanyambeho Chiko town nahinga emiyembe ahinga ibitoke ahinga cyayi ahinga n'ebido by'inyanja kana kosa abakozi 10 buri mwaka natase milioni maganasha bigawa wa Kanyambeho aha atembeho ehwereyo owabigawa kandi ayombe kirenju nungi ati nayombe kanishumi yo kushomeshiza mu abana kandi bajya ngo bakahura okhabura kwanje ko bahura radio ningambe bya Masaka niko yagambo ataro Kamashaka Robert Itwara
amazina ni Kamasaka Robert Itwara kandi nkazarwaha ahantu baheta Kabulenzi umuseru ya Kiyagara Kagazi Parish Rund Ward Kavuzya Town Council muri Kitagwenda District nkabandi umusomesa wa secondary nakoraho headmaster wa secondary kumara imyaka 7 then nahumura ombuhingi na muno ngatwemeye sayeji eji ni mother garden yogo mwana gwa robusta ogutakurwara okwera bwangu kandi kwera mwana mwinji coffee wilt disease resistant variety umwani kuna nasoborire twire robusta na arabica kandi omwana ogwo omuseason emwe arabica ntuihamu ogumaze kusayibwa tani nkemwe nizo kiro zokukara 10 zo mwana gwa arabica hatu mwana ogwo season yabere nungi nugikasingi kakaga kiro ikikumanyise omuntu ya mu miliyoni 6 kandi omuri robusta nayo ntika omuseason twihamu tani zinkayibiri zohiremeramo zimazire kusayibwa Burtani y'umwani urundi kilo y'umwani ya robusta yabere mu season inongi ne15 icyuma sezo na miliyoni 10 mu season hatezo nchimanyisa wakwata robusta na nasaranda kwatunga miliyoni 10 mu season umwaka no tunga miliyoni asitune 2 twine kuna nabagambire urutoke utwinga mu mporogoma kandi nabo season ko kubera inongi umwiki ntuyamira urutoke nkaga icyuma cyo mu kwezi tunga urutoke 2020 ibeke kubera inongi buri stoke ntuguza imitwaro 2 hata cyukumanyisa iyo ni mitwaro mitwaro toke 2020 n'urundi 2 na miliyoni na mitwaro 8 cyukumanyisa umwaka nabo waza kubaza mu amezi 12 tunga sente zikugenda na miliyoni 50 nadizi na wealth creation ubwo mwana rw'umwarebo ubwo government niza egutuguraho eguhereza abahingi akati ko mwani government yahura singira 15 kwe basakahereza abahingi ko bahinga mwana umurungi twine kartusi twine kibezera bya kartusi bingi hikemwe ya kartusi wabire mitumirungi okabyare miti 500 kandi 500 kasininga mu myaka 10 ukabasa kutunga emiti 300 terishiri abamashanyarazi imitegeno bakigura hagati ya sinje mitwaro 8 ne mitwaro 10 buri muti chuma sikoro wabire muhika emiti 500 kimanyisa 300 waza kujiguza notunga hagati ya miliyoni 29 na miliyoni 30 hati to buri mwaka ntunga hagati ya miliyoni 2 na miliyoni 80 umutuguze emiti yitiye kartusi kandi umugezo sente tubasize kusomesa abana baitu batubona bahirije university kandi twabasa kone mwale bakaho ukombe kamaka kandi tuyuntuomeka na hoteli amahanda kuzama hiwara ikobasa kubanka tourist hotel so nindeba ngu abantu mwamwe n'obusinge government ejubu ya resiri umuntu nubasa kole ibintu byawe ngukuru kwemba kandi akatare kaba karuho nabona uguza notunga sente ubuye bwona
atogon ka Masaka shika Masaka katari mu RCs. Yes, she was a Kajib chairman with Bueno aino mwani ikitano umwara kwiha miliyoni 12 agire bitoke na bibi yatsimbire na biho munadis ebene hamu miliyoni 8 ino emtia kartuchi ijonere ko hamu 1.25 billion atobunu kamashaka atungana abantu ninyenda kubasima okuza okwakira ingiri n'abagambiri yintaho atana simya kankaga ndi omuhurejo yo kusimura abantu abanyayuganda okorenda bakakoranesha umurimo nkawutandika umwaka nkaga na mukaga mu December ara abantu benatandikiye nabo bakaba ari abantu bajya mu tradition munonga bari abari 70 n'abafurafuruka hatariho hainabarho abahurire okushomesa kwanje bakakwata kwetu obonka nyine mugenzi wanje mwese gwa black wagwira umuntu arozeito ato umuntu omwe omukekura roho bakweta Esther Magaga Montero Esther Magaga abona bonatandikira nabo nkaga na mukaga nyine ngo abana n'abanyabushozi konka ninyenda kutunga ikishane cyo kucyoreka abandi
amazina ganje Esther Magaga ubuito nahantu baheta ngwengwe inshweringi hampa tweje ho gwankaga netana hampa eliens konka bakandi bagete mpango keri empango nese eteine byinge teine keri emburare ry'ikishaka twataho kutwabere turi umuntu turisa turi nko twatera nkabakara mujya mbwe president ayijumu ari umusenye ya mukaga yataya yo makagaitu tukugira ngo akataragira ngo naragira akari umwana wishomero tukanto mukiza n'imyaka nangunanye ninje mukiza ubundi yaha ninje mukiza tukanto mukiza imyaka akatsomesa ari umwana yatsomesa okutura okuhinga okombe kamaju gatakujya n'amabati agagutwayombekere wanyuma gebihome okubabatuza umunsi okurera kuzengerera okurera kutasha kutwabanda nambwini nkaitwe nkanya nkenjo yange ekeha chekutasya kanyabhara konka yatutanga yatwegesa ibintu birungi yatwegesa okushitama yatwegesa okutura yatwegesa twaba abantu mbwini kuko abantu babire abari kumanya bukuru ko babire bari itwe tkatanka bakaramoje kandi nakigamba matkatanka bakaramoje hakabakaramoje bakabaturana bafurka nambwe nabo mpurira ngo abegesa abandi akabari tampani mpurira nabo bagambe bya ururimi rw'abantu nuwe ati kizaha no kuturkushoku no kutuye mukono no atariko ataine kakwate nango no kuba umuntu nakwe tkantu mukizemya kitwe tkantu mukizemya kahari hata nangu ni mukira n'ubundi yampa hati kuyahereze kutegese ibintu ibyo kutwayega kutwayombeka amaju g'ibihome kutwaba abatuze kutwarera furuka kutwahinga twaba abantu nambuye n'umucyanga cyito nyahindugarikiraho n'ahandi kandi ninza yuko nkanda n'ahanarabireka nimba nimbere mbwe naho kuyatsigiraho aho mpaho haija government zinta kumanya za twabere turumo yahunga yagenda n'abana baitu abandi bahunga konka twaguma mu myanya yitu twargaho twagumaho baterekaho ababere bategeka twagumaho mbwe n'ubona ko washikire ntanga ya mureta yamuho mu kishaka yargira mu kishaka yayongeraho cya kabiri yayongeraho twatunga enjungu yayongeraho ubwenge bwo kugemura yayongeraho twayombeka amakamarungi nambwe n'icyanga cyitwe cyo n'ikindi kwera kwa hakanisa yitwere garkera hindu garkera n'ahandi ahinda arabira bumba irenye namani umutambana icyanga cyitwe no kurgaha kwikarishere kutahindu garkera tarobana kungwa abana kuntu bateze mpicenga tubarho nutimba rero kandi kangenda ebyo byona nuyabigisi hangiri turumwiri turkuzanda mwiri haija masumu nkanye kutere somo n'emyaka yanjye n'ukuntu kwingana ngo nanye nintera umuntu somo ntabwo icyo nsima government egi ahetu ihire ahetu kize twaba abajungu twashomesa abana tenyine mwana wanje o government arahira umurimo tenyine mwana wanje urukora mu government buri mwana wanje wena naye pakariza naye shuburuzo kwar kumanya natera gasanga natsise bekoreire nakora nko kwar kubasa anariya nani konka atari umwana wanje ubu president arahira umurimo mu government yingwa umwana kureka owahereye umuhendo ineshaga mayenka nkamukuru wabo tariho cyona kwiha ubusinge ninyone ubundi kumanya cyacyo na cyamushana nimanye ubusinge nimanye kushomesa kwe nimanye kwegesa kwe nimanye bito ebya government yatkorera nicyo nkusimira arahanga deni ubu businge bubundi umwe bwaza kunzika mburhanga kwarekereze ngo mfuye imbere y'ibininga harize habo kuba nicyo ndikumanya cyeke Petero bakambuzana bahakana yagira ati nyeke ndikumanya hari Yesu no kuba umwana warahanga cyonka niyo kindi kumanya mu government ya mukuru wihanga no businge cyacyo na cyamushana kagoje ibero kwe muko mukashisha okibori umuhinge kuhingo cyobori muri sokarisa okibona unde kugumaho kwibana bubiru nacyo ncyo watorana mukamasimu
kare hati mboyano ogono umwe umbantu banatandikire nabo batashomire nakake nambo no umcyara tiri kumanya yaba nama mwani nyamu na makushoma Bible iba yigira umukanisa beitu hato rutarunturaraho noro ukwiho ati ndakutabariza abakama bamwe ukwitera ibintu mwingi ukwitera ibintu mwingi nkimanyisa omukazi yaba nazara umwana akabura kumutsindika ajya kafu bajya ngo yamwitira mwingi mbona hene abantu abari mu NRM abanabire kunahereze kushomesa aba nkagana nkuyagamba gumukuru bashitama batura bamanya barga aha furuka nomadism ko gatwagira bwire tunagera bwire bwo kubongeraho twazo mushaka kurwana na Amin twamara imyaka 16 iki abana gamba twagarikire nibona abona ubwire bwo kubagarakamu ate ngabatacyo cyo kurga korenda yonka ngo batanje korenda hamwe nensha hazobona bakoze ikibaro bwarunore ko nente zenjungu zaziri kwinyima hato gum kayikuru na jemla ritama maganana burizo ugum kayikuru umkurebo zamati ritama maganana burizoba neha miliyoni 9 nimtaro nkaga buri kwezi nizo miliyoni 15 buri mwaka ugum kayikuru n'abandi bona aba group ejo abana atandikiye nabo bariho list mpango ko ngati tinkwenda kuza kubazamo so nkabagarukamu kinana na mwenda kubata mu iki kigambo cyo kuruganteze nyankore bakazanteze njungu zo kugemura amata kuyaje kukakena netano experiment ejo eka yakozere ngana hamze ngo yakozere abantu bakunda umujika ngukara wo mu Uganda yona naye tororo nimbagambire ngiregi cyenda netano nimbagambire ngiri ubona ni nkose bugambo okurembeka origezi aha ncharabi nimbahabura mbati kikuntangaza n'abantu abatafayo ababere banyine nabe batayine egingiri tubagenegeza bazabindi Museveni agende okugenda kindemire cyo kanyine kayange kana mujumanya kan manyanguti nyina hendu kuza katene nangwa no family yange ora kuzora mu government kaninye wo kubanza kastungo okurisa at government ecyo guntamu nabo nkareba ababiri barumo batene ki bakora kandi kutwizire twagire kitwakora kiriyaho kunga iki ngufana abo abatakwenegeza icyo mugasho kandi abatakureta ikindi ikintu mutano kumara bintu mugira ngo iki icyo mbazo utabateyeho ukutahera abantu betu ngabo tumurungi mumbazo banyunugo tubakugamba Museveni agende okugenda ningenda abo kuba nyino wanje tinyine tinkurara mu nju y'umuntu konka obumuremero kugira ikimwayambese ndoho kandi mbagambira mutakufayo kunda agende omwaza kugira tumaza kutugarire kuriya nanyaho n'ukwanya kayentuga abanyarwanda bantu bekiriza nanyiti kuja kugenda ninjaguma ni nsizika ubundi kagira abantu abargayo nkabo mba bushobora yaba batarigireyo hagira abargayo mpora bataho umungiri eyintari nimbashomesha mbona abakwene no ngungere kuno bakana bena ngungere kuno bakakora ebibita ibintu bahabura kuno nagendere kare shane kitsigereyo n'ecya East Africa abo ko kibuzo nikigira ngo kandi cyo kutangara abiko ni program baronda ubwebembeze ecyo ko baza abantu betu bagweshegire bakigweshegire na hati no rero bacha abakusimuka nimwaze mende kasese abe hari umujobe obere natuvunura umurukonjo manyango wabo ninkahi kuri akashese najya nto mu cyaro cyanyu harimo makangahi najya ngo mu cyaro cyabo harimo maka 1050 ntari yago agakora endanenshaho nangahi najya ngo maka 20 gonka gugarukora endanenshaho ngo maka igana 3 ngakikorera ndayonga mbe naho tuja kwerera konka kutuguma ntusimira abantu basimuka nakachaka basimukireho noreba hata katare kafunze akatareka kashukari kafunzire akatareka kamate kafunzire akatareka ibitoki kafunzire akatareka ibicori kafunzire nangwa n'ibintu by'amakorro nka sementi ushaka katare kafunze ati kibuzo nshijya ngo abantu ko barasimuke akatare ntwehenka akakatare kumunda akakata kumara nicyo NRM yabagambiririra ikabagiye ati nyabaramwe muranziye Africa muri cyo kuranziye ahonga kuranziye Uganda yonka kandi muri cyo kuzo mu nganda muri cyo kuzo muri debyo no kushisha ubwire tano mukantu kona muranziye Uganda kungana Uganda yite kumara nicyo NRM to abagambirira okurga kare ikigambo cya East African Integration ukwegeta kwa Africa ati nyira kuboreka ihurire ryo eri arkumirwenda kaganeshatu owo gurusubetu umgurusi Kenyatta umgurusi Obote umgurusi Nyerere obabugana bakana mendo ko East African Federation deyo baryaho konko bashyikireyo abo kutara abamwa babere batakoranze hare bakitro mengi cyafakityo bete kino kintu igima NRM kimushimire kuhimbura abo kati omwatanka kusimuka kugire mu akora akatarenkeje ko bikizo esempango estunguke zumukorana nka America zinakatareka hango ezumuri kwegomba emuri kuza America mukaza kurya ibyezire umuza kurya ibyabandi mutumukore ibyanyu diaspora muri yoko numurya ibyo bandi bakoze akatareka America n'abantu miliyoni 320 muri kundi ya America tukuntari billionaire habuka kunkuba ninkamamate abantu ninyosa abantu miliyoni 300 kandi besente ikikunzi barakugega haraniki China ese na yahati imuhangizi tena takuza China Guangzhou ata Afrika no kurya ibyezire bayina katare kabantu akahumbikamo na miliyoni 800 India 1.43 billion hati imwe akatare kanyu mukakora hoki nicho NRM eriko beshegeze kagete nyabara mwana mwenda ko securing your future nakayito garuko gamba ikindi kimwe nakoraho n'ikigambo cya East African Integration ate byamuheru ebana bagamba ibyenguto n'ibyo details tinkuja kuruza munonga abo kuba bana bagamba hari kandi biri mu fayiro kandi bija gukorwa according to the budget nkuko nabagambira twagaburage tene ekikuturemo nawo kitinguja kuza mu byamayizi byenki aboka byona billion program konka shanaka nagambaho nakarupata ahanguto nindeba mfayiro abantu bajengo engote ya kamwenge ngwekahwa ejo bagigamba ya chenjojo ati yahwa chenjojo Fort Portal ya Fort Portal hiba balini bagikora hima katunguru balini bagikora shaka katunguru bagihereze ebyona bifande zona shashura government ya Uganda sente zo kweguza sizo kushawa nambwenu nkaya eka mwenje ekatora bilioni igani 18 shilingi za Uganda. Eka koro government ya Uganda naba World Bank bakabaza mbwanyuma bagira ngo umuchina yatwe kumushi bagenda ingutu twageze nesenteze dero chenjojo yitwaheza hati ejo government ya Uganda niyo gikozire yonka obuhumbi igani 18 dero hima katunguru no football hima nayo government ya Uganda niye chashurire sente billion 9 za Uganda. Hima katunguru nayo government ya Uganda niye gishashurire sente billion 83 zone zimshoreri n'abagambira ariko rugomba gaiga abapanyurire katunguru ishaka na government ya Uganda na twayikoso obuhumbi igana 18 batu ntuzakudabiriza urugoto urutindo rwakazinga rwakatunguru ntuzakora urugoto rwa ntoroko kutera kora karugutu urugoto rwa Nyamugashani urutindo na Katojo Road tuzakora entindo za Cyanya Rumobuku Ibanda Road Isanga derengo tuzakora kutera koras ishasha katunguru nuru akuria seri kilomita 8 Nyarukoma Kigarare Rwamwanja Kiruhura kilomita igana na itanu ntuja kukorona Kazo Burunga Kabogore Kyegegwa nango ntwena nyina ngubaritsana hapuyo Karuguza aho n'urugoto twarabiremo utwatera kabamba ntwena barakorera kimwe barifite hapuyo na Karuguza Kikorongo bwera baza kugigarakamu hari urugoto rutwenda kutembura mu kibira Rwimi Dura Kamwenge Kihura then Fort Porto Kijura Charsozi Katoke 83 kilometers Nkenda Bugoye Nyakaringijo, Mobuku Mariba, Nyakaringijo, izo ni imbuto tukuza gukora. So ibi ni by'imbuto, izo mbuto mpango zone zo mu cyanga ikintu tuja kuzikora kuzitera korasi. Hari n'imbuto yansi yoroshoza hari amana bageta bata imbuto n'ingikunda habo tourism ukugenda yansi yoroshozi ekafumikira nkahima dero tukwa nena. So mwabare munonga kandi keraho mwabare muno okusagika NRM mugenda mu meso no kusagika NRM ebintu byone ebirungi nibija kweyongera abako ebitukoziraho mu birozere kandi tukabikora sitene sente hati nubo tuine sente kandi sente zone tukozesa ni sente zile za majuta tuzurumu eze bimwitaka tuzurumu tukozesa sente ezo mutwe zonka ezo kukozesa ubongo bwitu nawe cyo kutarayongera za majuta ntuja Uganda neja kubenshi ya amani mwebare muno.
Otyo muno akiki webale muno nebigambe birungi. Webale munonga Mr. President nebigambo lyokwegesa kandi turi kuza kuhendera ndikongera kusima na ngenda no kongeraho kugira ngo mu government sebo president okatungira sente zo kudabiriza amatawuni mwenu nke town eje ya Fort Portal eyokozire city twine sente ezo mu project yo kotawuni usimid kutereze nkuto zo mu tawuni tukata mamatara kandi tawuni ekaba bujungu na mwenu twire turukora mu Fort Portal twine zindi sente nyinje myaka 5 yo misho okongera kugishanjura kandi nkuto zo nakogwa netawone ya Kasese nayo tugitira mu programu kugira ngo naye base kutunga sente za Usimid enkuto zo mu tawuni ya Kasese kandi no kudabiriza etawuni yona ebase kubonera kandi netawuni nyinji ezyo mu Western Uganda nke yambarara ya Kabale ne yantunga mona yo hati eyonjireho etawone ya Mubende oku Buganda ni nyingi twenda kusima abo kugira ngo utirewe sente zo kukora enkuto eza korasi ezo washoma kandi watahone sente ezo kudabiriza amatawuni okugira ngo gabase kurebekaje. Your Excellency omu manifesto eitkozire nka NRM erimu ebintu bingi abo bwire tuwabasa kubishoborora wagamba nkuto konka neyoreka ebintu bingi ebiri kuza kukogwa mu myaka 5 eyo misho nka program za mezi ebyare bingi n'amatawuna mingi amezi gatakayikire negija kukogwa nka meza ganyabani omuli Kitagwenda ameza ga Katoke omuli Chenjojo kandi no mu tawuni bwona nihaza kombekamu za taps stand points kugira ngo abantu babone amezi marungi nko mu district ya Chegegwa ameza gampara Ruyonza agonigaza kombekwa kandi n'ekitongore cya National Water nikiza kongera kujanjaza amezi mu byaro bingi ebya Toro na Gwenzori kugira ngo babase kutunga amezi marungi. Sebo President na nyenda takahendire nyongereho nebimwe ebiliyoni bikogwa nkamagwaliro ekimwe ekyokozere Your Excellency ko wizire mbwebembezi tukatwi n'amagwariro make konkogerizeho okuranga amagwariro gahika heihi n'abantu kandi abantu bengi hati bakatambura urugendo ruringwa kuza kwika aha magwariro nambwe nukati okatawe sente kugira ngo bugwariro obuce obwa health center ya kabiri bushanjugwe rero government yo egombeke gabaga health center 3 ningashi amagwariro aga rulengo gwegomborora agari kubagaine y'abacyara bari kubasa kuzalira abana kandi hariho na ward umugwere yaba ari kubi kubasa kutunga ekitanda namwe nyenda kutangariza abantu government yawe ya NRM hari amagwariro menji ageri yono yombeka gari yoni gahwa omagombora menji omucyangechi nko muri Chegegwa umugombora ya Ruyonza Kamwenje muri Kabambiro na Bihanga hariyo ni hombekwa amagwariro ga Health Center 3 Kitagwenda igwara rya Kanara omuri Chenjojo igwara rya Kigoyera Katoke Chihura Chembogo Kisojo agogona galiyo nigakugwa nigakura kujya ugarugaro lengo gwa hansi gawa magwariro ga Health Center 3 kandi igwara rya Buhesi omuri Bunyangabu hamwe na hano muri Kabarole Rutete Karangura Hakibale na Harugongo government yariyo negombeka kugira ngo gabe aga Health Center 3 kandi amagombora gona sebo president omu manifesto teiremu kugira ngo amagombora gono mu myaka 5 agasigeire ndigeja kutunga amagwarira mahango aga Health Center yakashatulere cyangeje cyagwenzori na Toro bayobona bamazigwe kutunga amagwariro ago hariho n'amagwariro agari kuza kukura garuga harulengo gwa Health Center yakashatu gabe amagwariro ageishaza aguturukweta ngo ni Health Center 4 agari kubagine theater yo kushemereza mu abagweire nkabakaza binenda kandi abariho n'aba doctor nko mu district ya Chegegwa igwarire ryampara hati ya nerya Health Center yakashatu niriza kura government riyombeke liberi ya Health Center ya Kana habeho ba doctor habeho na theater yo kushemerezaho abagweire kandi n'igwariro hapuyo sebe wagamba ngo mukaraba muri Rwanda hati be n'igwariro rya Health Center ya Kashatu niriza kuzibwa libe Health Center ya Kana habeho ba doctor habeho na theater aho kushemereza abagweire no muri Kamwenje hati ya government eliyone kuza igwariro rya Bisozi baliyo diombekwa okuba Health Center ya Kana kandi no mwishaza rya Kibale muri Kamwenge igwariro rya Padre Pio rya Health Center ya Kashatu omukisanje kiri kwija niriza kuzibwa libe Health Center ya Kana habeho ba doctor habeho na theater yo kujanjabiramu no kushemeza abagweire no muri Chenjojo igwariro rya Bufunjo Health Center ya Kashatu niriza kura libe Health Center ya Kana kandi no mu district ya Bunyangabu igwariro rya Kibito Health Center 4 Health Center ya Kana government neza ko ryombeka libi igwariro erihango nkama gwarira mahango agutwine aga hospital omuri Kitagwenda igwariro rya Mashoro Health Center 3 n'enyanja ya Lake George nariyo ndiza kuzibwa libe Health Center ya Kana kandi mu Kabarole district igwarire rya Rutete Health Center 3 likule libe Health Center ya Kana nibinji sebo president oriyono yombekana amashomero za seed schools hariho n'amashomero menji agariyo mu plani okuombekwa kugira ngo amagombora gona gabase kutunga za senior za government rero abana babase kushoma babase kutungura ihanga sebo president nyongera okwebaza kandi abantu ababahurikize program eji n'abantu bareba TV bayega mu binji abo kwa wayoreka ngo nikibasika abantu kuruga umubworo bakabasa gukora namani nko Bible iri kuturagira n'ibitaye biri kwera ngo twakora ntubasa kutunguka kandi tubeho mwenu webare echejeso cyawe kandi twenkabebembezi nitwenda okuraganisa ngo mu rutaro ogwotandikire ogwo kugwanisa obworo kugira ngo abanya-Uganda babase kuruga omumbera ezibalimu babase kutunguka nitujja kukwasya kabamemba ba parliament ba district ya person zina twena tukwase turebe ngo twahika aha businguzi so ntiyabanya-Uganda ngo tuwongere kuhagira president Yoweri Museveni n'aba movement ebiri 12 uko kubanza tuterere president Yoweri Museveni n'aba movement kugira ngo ebi president yanatugambira n'ebiri mu manifesto bibase kwikirira rero Uganda egenda omumisho yeyongere okutunguka. Sebo president hariho abebembezi abarene iwaha ndi kuhendera twineho Westinisa Richard Todwong, Deputy Secretary General wa NRM, kandi no Westinisa Jacqueline Chatheire, Deputy Treasurer wa NRM mu kibina cyaitu, kandi twineho n'umwami tweheyo ubwo ne bari kukurira abakozi mu rukiko rukuru rwa Central Executive Committee. Twineho ba Minister Westinisa Adolphe Mwesige, Minister wa Defense and Veteran Affairs, Westinisa Frank Tumwebaze, Minister wa Gender, Labour and Social Development, kandi no Westinisa Jackson Kafuzi, Deputy Attorney General wa Uganda, kandi umwami gwa Buhinga, Chairman wetu wa district ya Kabarole ya Staya Isa Elizoba. Webale munonga ntukushabira ngo ruhanga kuhereza umugisha, kandi webale no kutayayira ecyanga cyatoro, kandi tujya kwakiranya cyakale umuri bundi bujo ubuge n'abantu babundi bujo na ntoroko. Webale munonga sebo president.
Abatoro ntakarigira mbeho ninyenda kubebaza abukora bya mu mtabano wanje Jackson Kafuzi bakamara bya mu batagiye kumuteganisa n'ubururu tukona hurire
Yes.
Undi jo warabire muno atende kuteganisa
Frank tumwebaze
na Frank tumwebaze mwebara abatoro muri baseja mari na muri baseja na bakazi mari haina bana barabire mu amadaraga hansi naone MP. Okay. Ngono na bigabana mukamurabya mu mwebare atumwene mwampere ba MPs bitu bashire nkamunana aba NRM 12 barabiremo batene cyakanisa to aho tukabekara stawa kwiti mwebare munonga mwebare kwagira NRM.
Hello and welcome to the backstage of this generation where the young and restless face the bold and beautiful.
It has been a very interesting journey.
First of all, people are noticing that comedy is a funny way of being serious.
You want to get a glimpse of Uganda's future through the eyes of the youth? You can with myself Drago on Chilling. That's every Sunday evening on UBC Television.
Saturdays will never be the same again.
You should come, you guys. I told you that thing is so fun.
Yes, indeed. We've been rocking your world for 10 solid years on Horizon Vibe. It's the funkiest, freshest music show in the land. And now with the live studio audience, get up close and personal with your stars. We drop the hottest video premieres and the illest video mixes.
Pop, pop, it's showtime, showtime, showtime. Guess who's back again?
And that's not all. Your proggy giveaways.
African Yayo.
Oh, just
and a lot more.
This is the best show I've ever had, I swear, in Uganda. Big up Horizon Vibe. But it's fire.
Is your vibe like?
Live from the UBC Auditorium is Horizon Vibe with Kofi, the entertainer.
Hello.
Wedding traditions and customs vary greatly between cultures, countries, and social classes. On Platinum, we bring you a glimpse of bridal fashion for both men and women, hairstyles, makeup, and shoes, where you can pick a leaf for your occasion. The magnificent Platinum decor. The Platinum cake. The unforgettable moments at our traditional ceremonies. That ride is where we tie our knots. And the party begins.
Let me drink one for the road. Let me drink one for the road.
Cause you only need the light when it's burning low. Only miss the sun when it starts to snow. Only know you love her when you let her go. Whoa, whoa.
No, I've never been someone shy until I seen your eyes. Still I had to try, yeah. Girl, every little thing I do it for you. In every little song I sing it for you.
I'm sure while growing up, many of you experienced a time where probably you were defrauded through gambling. The times you were sent to a shop, to a market, or even to school, and you met those guys of Kano Kafuna, Kano Tekafuna, and you decided to put in your money and you lost it all. Today we're talking about gambling. How can you avoid being a victim of gambling? Let's listen to this security guard story. Hope you learn from it.
My name is Bob Ogwal. I'm a security officer working in Securities Agency Uganda Limited. I am 24 years old. I remember when I was 18 years, my father sent me to go and sell a cow in the market. By then, I found some people they were playing games. I also entered in that game of Porter. So by the first time I put my 5,000 shillings, I won. They gave me 10,000. So I was like, that's the game now to play. For the second time, I put 10,000. They ate my money. That and 10,000 gone. For the third time, I decided to put 15,000 shillings, Uganda shillings. So afterward again, that money went. Since I don't want to enter into that money deeply, I decided to put I was having like a small phone, Kapesa. I decided to put my phone. From there, I didn't want anything. They ate my money. Since I don't want to enter into that money, because by then I can understand the situation of the village, I decided to leave the game. But that 25,000, the one they ate, plus the phone, it can push you somewhere. Though it is a small phone, though it is a small money, a small phone, still it can push you somewhere. I've learned a lot. I've learned more and more. As per now, I don't want to do it again, and I never wanted to repeat. And there, what I've learned, there is no free money in this world.
Well, I hope all of us here on this table can relate. Alex, have you ever experienced something of this kind?
You can see my smile.
You must have some memories.
Your school fees, you know. I won't share my experience today, but one of the things you should know about gambling, it's an addiction. Gambling, many people call it betting, other people call it stakes, depending on which language you use. But gambling, stakes, betting is almost the same. And most of the time, like I've told you, like alcohol, like any other addiction, it's an addiction, and it's something within your brain. You feel it, you know, I'm going to what? To win. That's why sometimes guys who gamble, they tell you when you win, stop, run away and go away. But the moment you win, you feel like you want to do what? To win. But the common one, even before we reach on the topic of the discussion, is with students. I've seen students committing suicide because they've done all their school fees. They can't get it, they keep attracted. So parents, please, when you look at money matters, they should start early. When a child is early, 10 years, 5 years, they've just started school, teach them how to handle the money, so that when they grow, they experience, they know the moment I get my school fees, I take it to the bank account, so that when they reach the university, but some students start paying themselves school fees at university. Yes. And that is a very bad one. Two, we can try and promote financial literacy in our schools. We talk to these kids, we talk to these students and tell them the side effects. Sometimes we do things because we don't know the other side.
But you talk about students, you see, and this happens so much at campus. the moment someone gets their tuition, and the first thing they do is they call it okozamu, you know, multiplying the money. Either if they've given you 1 million, you first use it to get at least 1.5, you keep the 500, and then use 1 million for school fees. Yes, and many end up losing all that money, and you find the time when they are going to do their exams, that's when they start either calling their friends, that's when girls start getting people to help them out, and some of them end up even getting used because they can't call back home to get the money that they used in something that was really not clear.
Yeah, you know, people think gambling is equated to investment. I will put my money into this and my money will grow, and in a very short span of time, such that I can enjoy a win-win situation. You've got your principal, but you have got a little markup that you can enjoy your life with. But before you know it, you've lost it all. So we need to be careful. This is close to a get-rich-quick scheme of sorts, and also investing in things that we do not understand. Because most cases, like this security guy, he gave his money to someone hoping that this person will make more money for him.
And that was that was after selling his father's cow.
You can imagine.
They take the money from the cow after they take the phone, but you're still putting in money thinking you'll be able to turn it around.
And where I come from in the western part of the country, we call it wakareva. Have you seen it? There's someone how they play around with it all of a sudden. So also parents should not put their kids in that temptation. It's all about grooming. Do not tempt the kid to do a mistake. Because you know these are risky places. You let a child go alone 18 years, 15 years, even if it's not gambling, they'll find a girl and spend the money. But when you are together and they do a mistake, you may try to guide them that this is bad, this is good. But you saw a parent was at home, relaxed, there was no level. Because kids have to reach a level, and you know, I've modeled my kids to this level.
You have trained the child to make the wise decision.
But you're even talking about the children, but it's so much even of the older people that are, you know, falling victims.
Salary. People can gamble their whole salary.
How safe is it to do betting or to do gambling for fun?
For fun, one, you should look at amount and time. Look at how much can I lose.
Is there any money that you can lose and you're comfortable?
There's a risk. Risk is low. It's not too high risk. You can't have the whole of your salary at the enter casino. You may walk away. Time. I've worked for 1 month to get all this money, but I really want to spend it in 1 month. Two, like I've told you, if you win, you happen to win, walk away. If you have made many losses, still don't continue to bet so that you bring back your money.
There is one thing that I want to put clearly. Why I asked the question of how safe it is for someone to do it for fun is you never understand when you're going out of hand. First, you're doing it for fun. Second, you're doing it to earn. And at the end of it all, you're doing it because you can't do without it. It's an addiction.
Now you see, Ivan, if you're gambling for fun, you'll not gamble school fees, you'll not gamble the entire salary, you'll not gamble money that you're supposed to buy food in your house.
That's only if you are not yet at the stage of addiction. When you're still doing it for fun, well, you just put it. If you win, you
put your extra money that you're budgeted for into gambling.
But when someone does it, they win, the second time they win, the third time they lose, and they are okay, I can try it again. They get to do it because they want to get the money. Probably what they lost.
Hello everyone, welcome to yet another session with Be Money Wiser, and today we're going to talk about planning for our old age. So many times we only think about our day-to-day survival. We think about making our budget, saving, paying back our loans, and basically survival. We're thinking about our day-to-day survival. But today we want to take this thought a little bit deeper. How effectively are we planning for our old age? Let's listen to this experience and carry on the discussion, hoping that at the end of all this, we'll have some insight on how to plan better for our older years.
My name is Chisto Bashir Juma. This planning for retirement involves looking at your current expenditures, and then planning to have the same expenditures, having the same money to spend when you can't work. So it involves saving some money at the present and using that money at the point when you've retired. And the pain with it is that if you don't start immediately begin working, then it becomes a very big problem when you want to join it. And this is the pain I want to share. I began my retirement planning just 5 years ago, and that means I must save big amounts because I'm closer to retirement than than if I decided to do that at the onset of my working career. I don't know if you get the point. I have to save twice as much because the period between now and my retirement is just about 20 years. Yet if I had started saving for it from the time I started working, that means I would have had close to 40 years, and that means I would have saved less money, almost a half of what I'm saving towards retirement. What lessons do I pick out of this? It is nice to plan for retirement. It is a reality. Number two, it is nice to begin early. I began 20 years later, and I'm telling you I'm paying the price because I have to save twice as much. But I don't regret for one thing. Eventually I'm doing it. Yes, it's coming at the cost of big, I have to save big on my income, but then this is the advantage. I'm happy to know that even when I retire, I will have some money that will be able to live me through my life even without earning. I think that is a very, very important lesson for anybody to think about that age when you can't work anymore, but you still have the same expenditures in your life. There are a number of ways you can use to save for your retirement. You can use insurance providers. There is also the National Retirement.
Up next on UBC, brought to you by
Keep the lights on. Use Airtel Money to pay for all your Yaka bills conveniently. Open the My Airtel app to buy Yaka units. Airtel Money, simple, secure, borderless.
It is intellectually engaging.
Court does not sit to waste its time. If you have no defense, it chases you.
It is a ruling on the foundations. Business has been conducted in a certain way.
Banks take money from us, depositors. All of us seated here have got money in the bank, and even before you walk out, they've given that money to somebody else.
Deeply incisive.
Here is a credible alternative political force.
Let's get into this election and let's choose right.
Through that vote that you will contribute towards building a new Uganda.
Authentically symbolic and insightful.
We should work so hard to evacuate this power.
Behind the Headlines, every Wednesday at 10 p.m. with Charles Odong Thor.
A very welcome.
Probably the most experienced talk show moderator in Uganda, with a team of illustrious panelists. Honorable Abdul Katuntu, a seasoned legislator, politician, and senior lawyer. Honorable Margaret Mohanga, a veteran journalist, legislator, entrepreneur, and development consultant. And Ramadan Gobi, an economist and university don.
There is no country which has lost, which has failed or has had collapsed democracy when it is above $6,000. So,
all on your public broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Good evening. Good evening, Uganda, Africa, and the world at large.
Welcome to yet again another edition of UBC Behind the Headlines. My name is Tony Kent Chaze, and I'm sitting in for Charles Odongtho for a reason I will be sharing with us a little later. Today has been quite a day, with the Ministry of Health revealing a couple of statistics concerning COVID-19 in the country. Unfortunately, to date, Uganda has lost 225 lives so far. Cases revealed today are 565, that is the new cases of COVID-19, and this takes the cumulative figure to 28,733. Meanwhile, cumulative recoveries to date are standing at 10,070, with of course the inclusion of 65 new recoveries reported today. Otherwise, the tests that have been taken today, the samples taken, are 5,608, and this bringing the total samples so far tested to a figure of 692,455. Ladies and gentlemen, how are you conducting yourself? Are you washing hands as regularly as possible? And that is with soap and water? Are you sanitizing with an alcohol-based sanitizer? Or perhaps, if you look at me right now, I am having my face masked. More so in public domain, do you mask yourself as regularly as possible? Do you social distance? It is highly recommended that you social distance. It's highly recommended that you mask yourself as regularly as possible. Well, in the same domain of the news that has fallen our way in the day, the President, who is also the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, has made some changes within the security docket. He has appointed and posted Lieutenant General Muhoozi Kainerugaba as the Commander of the Special Forces Command, better known as SFC, and is also the Presidential Advisor on Security. On the screens right now is Lieutenant General Muhoozi Kainerugaba. He's the new Commander, Special Forces Command, SFC, and also the Presidential Advisor on Security. In the same developments, we have seen Major General Paul Lokech appointed as Deputy IGP, that is Deputy Inspector General of Police. That on your screen is Major General Paul Lokech, the new Deputy IGP, Inspector General of Police. Major General James Birungi has been posted to South Sudan for special assignments, and of course that is the gentleman on your screen. Congratulations to him. But in the same regard, Major General Sabit Mzee, who perhaps many are wondering, having been the Deputy IGP, what has happened then? Well, he's now the outgoing Deputy IGP and returns to the UPDF General Headquarters as he awaits perhaps deployment that will be coming pretty soon. Well, these and so many others have been making headlines in the country, but of course we are shifting our key headline and attention to what is making the biggest of headlines in the country, and that is the fight against COVID-19. Is Uganda still on track? Well, just to let you know, my name is Tony Kent Chaze, and I am sitting in for Charles Odongtho. Charles Odongtho is the main chief of UBC Behind the Headlines, but unfortunately on Friday, he did take some tests, and yes, like I said, unfortunately, they returned positive for COVID-19. He acted as a gentleman, made it public, sought advice of the medics, and as we speak right now, he's undertaking self-isolation, but as well being managed by medics as he goes along getting back on course. I have with me guests in studio, but as well we shall be joined by guests on Zoom. So just in case you see the wide shot giving us a few in studio, don't be scared. We shall be having the bigger picture of the rest of us on Zoom. Otherwise, in studio with me is Dr. Monica Musenero Masanza. She happens to be a veterinarian, a word that kind of gives me a little bit of hardship pronouncing. She's a microbiologist and an epidemiologist. That is another word as well giving me hardship. Probably I'll learn by the time we leave. But of course, Dr. Musenero is a consultant in epidemiology, that is to the government of Uganda, and advisor to the President of Uganda on epidemics and pandemics. You're welcome to the show, Doctor.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Well, on the extreme left, that is my extreme left, is Honorable Lubega Medad Segona, a man of his word. He kept time. And of course, when we invited him to where we were taking some coffee, he said, no, I have to come at the appointed time, not a little earlier. Anyway, he is a lawyer and a member of parliament for Busiro County East in Wakiso District. You're welcome, Honorable Segona.
Well, thank you. After introducing Dr. Musenero, I thought you were going to give me another title to bring me closer to her. Perhaps as a Muganda doctor.
Okay.
But thank you, and good evening, viewers.
All right. Thank you so much, Honorable. Now, because we are trying to see how best we can align the guests that are coming online, we shall be bringing them unto us a little later. And so I now turn my attention to Dr. Musenero. We have seen the COVID-19 guidelines and SOPs, that is standard operating procedures, coming our way. And perhaps to some extent people feel, that is some, that maybe yes, we have done the right thing, whilst others feel it's a maybe no, we haven't done the right thing. An overview from you is what I need concerning what so far has been done. Is our COVID fight still on track, Dr. Musenero?
Good evening, viewers, and I'm happy to be here this evening to discuss this issue of COVID. And the question is our COVID fight still on track? Now, the fight of an epidemic or pandemic, and whether it is on track, depends on understanding on how we approach each stage of a pandemic. At the beginning, if you know there is a pathogen out there, you don't want it to come in. And if it comes in at all, you want to keep it to those people who have brought in. You don't want it to leak into the population which is in the country. And we fought that battle. Because of the nature of this virus, I remember writing around March, I wrote an article saying the virus is going to come because of the nature of this particular pathogen. And once the virus gets into the community, again because of the nature of this virus, the best shot is to keep cases manageable. It is not possible to fight it the way we fought HIV, because HIV has a choice component, a wider choice component than COVID. So whereas we will tell people, put on your mask, social distance, but there are many people who have done those things and they have still become infected. Why? Because there was a step at which we could manage this. And this is the stage when we have just community spread, but it's being managed. That's around August when we started relaxing the lockdown measures, because realistically lockdown cannot be sustained in an economy like ours, in a situation where people live hand to mouth. Even in developed countries, lockdowns have been very, very hard on the population. So the expectation that people would take these measures, they were meant to reduce. We would still have people infected, but the numbers would be low. Because if the numbers are manageable, then we can treat them. The aim of controlling this epidemic is not like Ebola, that I will stop you and snap you out. Here, until we get a vaccine and a drug, we want to keep cases low so that health facilities are not overwhelmed. And then, but now where we are, because of the low adoption of the measures that we are supposed to keep the cases low, we didn't take up the face mask the way we thought we would. There was some disconnection between us, the responders, and the population for some reason. We walked quite a distance with the population, but at some point, especially when politics started and economic stress, we lost pace with the population. The adoption of the face mask as a measure has not been as we expected, and then the compliance to social distancing, because the golden bullet would be people don't come close together, but that is unrealistic. But still we can control the disease. Even now, we can still have an impact and keep our health facilities from being overwhelmed if we can avoid big gatherings, because it's a game of numbers. COVID is a game of numbers. The moment you have so many numbers, then so many cases come to the health facilities, and then you are not able to treat them, and as a consequence, your health workers get infected, they get discouraged, they get fatigued, and they stop paying attention, and then you run out of resources. For example, once we run out of the high dependence unit beds, then anybody who is coming to the hospital, if that person came 2 weeks later, then we would save that person. But if that person comes this week and there is no high dependency bed, then that person will die. So that's usually the fight. So we are, I would say both, we are both on course and off course. Okay. Because the biggest thing is going to be how do we handle these last weeks of December and January. Those are going to be the determining months of what COVID is going to do in Uganda.
Thank you so much, Dr. Musenero. As you made a voice of those particular entities, Honorable Segona was nodding, probably in affirmation or probably in agreement. I wonder, he's from the political side, and somewhere, somehow, you made mention of when politics came in, some of these SOPs were non-realistic then. Honorable Segona, the camps you've been to, and probably the one where you do subscribe, which is NUP, there's been a lot of cause to believe you do not subscribe to the SOPs that were given unto you by the Electoral Commission. I don't know, in probably your response, you could tell us what exactly that particular thought, or where it places you perhaps.
Well, Kent, my brother, I think you placed me between a rock and a very hard place. Because first of all, I want to thank people like Dr. Musenero, those that have worked behind the scenes, who have not been working to be praised. When we were in the lobby, I did mention that I knew her name. I only did not attach a face. So people like her and our people that have been on the front line in this fight against COVID-19, the health workers, the medical and non-medical workers that have played a big part in securing us. I think they have secured our future more than those who claim to secure our future. If I'm one of those whose future is being secured, because I may not be part of the group. That said, I think, yes, at the beginning, first, we delayed to take the first step. I remember traveling from Nairobi, and as I landed in Entebbe, I received something on my phone indicating that Nairobi had registered their first case. A day later, I traveled to Dar es Salaam, and as I was leaving Dar es Salaam at the airport, I got news that in Tanzania they got their first case. When I landed at the airport, one of the young immigration officials said, "Honorable, please help us close the airport and the borders." When COVID came in, I think it found all of us unprepared, and we panicked. If we had properly panicked at that very point, which is what she has been saying, and closed them until we prepared ourselves, perhaps that would have been the very first, the best step at the beginning. Now, we allowed in some cases, and that is where the case is escalated, because once those people were able to go into the communities, now you begin getting community infections. And now you're getting community infections, you get the community panicking.
Yes.
But as well as we, the responders, if I'm one of them. I'm a responder because of being a leader, and she was a responder because of her professional background in assignment. The next step we missed was about the entry points of the truck drivers. The moment we began allowing truck drivers to come in without testing, and then we say, we give them guidelines, do not mix with the population. I remember one day the president was being asked and he said, well, those are stupid. Why would you mix up? But I said, look, that's the population you have. And this is where they depend for survival. Having said that, I think it's not cause for us to lament, and I do not want to behave like a paper tiger because you asked me a specific question about politics. Yes, we worry about the lives of Ugandans, and our lives at that. But again, that places us between a rock and a hard place, as if the rock is not hard enough. When here is an election that guarantees the survival of a nation, and you're not talking about a personal exercise. An election is talking about either survival of the country or the collapse of a country. Bad elections, we've had a history of bad elections in Uganda and in the world. So we are forced to strive towards having a good election. And that good election requires the meeting of minds between the voters and the voted. So it is a question of either or. You either have a good election or none at all. It cannot be a good election if you are telling the voters, do not meet the people you want to vote to hear them. And you're telling those candidates, do not meet the voters who you want to convince. Now, the Electoral Commission developed guidelines extracted from the SOPs issued by the Ministry of Health. And that's how I understand it. Of course, maybe for good reasons, those conflict with the Constitution. Now, the enforcers choose to follow the guidelines, which are not even SOPs, because they are just guidelines. They are not even statutory instruments. The SOPs have been reduced into statutory instruments. I do not want to appear ignorant. I am aware.
Yes.
And to enforce those ones as against the Constitution. And this is where you may be blaming the politicians. Yes, one, because the politicians did not take the step that was required at the beginning. At some point, bipartisanly in Parliament, we had a group working towards ensuring that maybe the election is suspended. Because this is, you call it a pandemic or an epidemic? It's a pandemic. It is all over the world, understandably. I mean, I find extreme difficulty in having General Tibahabulu as my president, even for a single day. But we're saying, fine, give him, say, like 1 or 2 years to continue, and we shall put up with that pain. But do not organize an election in these circumstances.
But Honorable, you're the legislators. I believe there would be a legislative approach to making that possible.
Yes. But that kind of legislation under the Constitution, of amendment and the Constitution, can only be brought by the government, not a private member. It's because it's a requirement of law. But the other approach could as well have been interpretation of the Constitution, where you could even subject it to judicial interpretation in the Constitutional Court under Article 77 to decide whether this is one of the occasions where an election cannot be held. But that would, the Constitution envisaged only 6 months. So the trouble is, you would have to do some amendment of some sort.
Okay.
And this is where we, the politicians, failed as the first step from the political perspective.
Okay.
Now that we went for this election, what are the options? The options are to simply sit and get organized. When we get organized, we agree that we shall not hold a political meeting except in a place of this kind of size. And in every district, the government should have organized that district in such a way that they are able to provide a facility that they can accommodate the numbers we're talking about. But when you tell people a meeting of only 70 people, a meeting of only 200 people, remember, you are infringing on a constitutional right of association, and you are regulating that right of association beyond what is demonstrably justifiable in a free and democratic society. And the most cardinal exercise in guaranteeing that freedom and democracy is this periodic, regular, free and fair election.
Honorable, hold it at that, hold it at that. I'm actually told by my producer that Charles Odongtho is available to us online on Zoom. Charles, I'm not so sure where exactly you are, but you might wish to make your presence visible. Yes, Charles, like I told you, is actually undergoing treatment. Oh, there he is, there he is. Charles, you're welcome to the show. Charles, you're welcome to UBC Behind the Headlines. Oh, probably there is a bit of network surge somewhere, somehow. We shall be getting in touch with Charles, because we really need to hear from him so as to save the many worries that people are having, that maybe perhaps he's in a very intense situation. But of course, like we told you earlier, his situation is mild and not as serious as many others often end up being. Well, in the meantime, perhaps let's get to Ramadan Gobi.
Hi, Tony.
Let's get to Ramadan Gobi. He's actually joining us.